even in 2019, the primary audience was still visiting trade shows. Print publications were the method to marketing to that audience. And that shift has been accelerated by arguably 5, maybe even 10 years
Mhm.
to a more digital process. And companies, what was interesting, I'll just share a little tidbit. So in Q1 and Q2 of Q1 was kind of normal, right? Q2 and Q3, Q2 primarily of last year, we saw budgets freeze. People were kind of like, whoa, what's going on?
Yep.
What do we do now? That included our searcher audience that was coming out and consuming the content. It included our subscribers and our growth in companies showcasing. In Q3 and 4, it was really fascinating, and it goes to what you're asking right now. Q3 and Q4, we saw budgets unfreeze. We saw the entire world realize, okay, we've got to get back to something, even though it can't be what it was before. We saw in our industry, in our platform specifically, we saw companies lifting their marketing budgets. And while some of the smaller companies churned, because they were conserving cash due to the turbulence of COVID-19, larger companies opened up their budgets and did a complete flip in the way that they were spending their marketing dollars.
Mhm.
2019, marketing budgets were spent like this: 20% digital, 80% in person, trade shows, events, sponsorships, print pubs. Q3 2020, it did a complete flip. We
Mm.
had to launch 2 additional tiers, 2 higher tiers for companies because there was such a great demand for
Wow.
more spend on the digital front.
Mm.
And we actually sold more larger subscriptions in Q3 and Q4 for these larger companies because of that flip to digital. And so I just don't see that changing. I
Wow.
think that's going to continue. They're going to get used to seeing ROI reporting and analytic reporting to really
Mm.
understand how their dollars are being used. And I don't see that changing in the future.
Well, there's so much here to unpack, but let's be clear. What you said was if you don't have a strategy or you are not embracing it, you have got to get into the game of digital marketing and meet your customer, whoever you are, whatever product or service that you do. You got to meet your customer where they are. And friends, they're online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period. They are online. You got to meet them there. And then we've got this budget shift from pre-COVID, 80% in-person print, all that kind of stuff to 20% digital to now it's 80% digital and 20% everything else, which further underscores the power of digital marketing. And if you're not in it, you got to get in it and you got to be able to share your voice, your messaging, your product with your consumer. And digital marketing is a lot more than, oh, let me post a picture of my product and say, here's my $99 chair. Okay. And we're not going to go down the rabbit hole. You guys, if you've been listening for a while, you hear me talk about this a lot. It is not that.
Mhm.
Okay. But it is a lot more than that. And so, but you got to get in the game and you got to
Mhm.
be part of it if you want to attract customers. So, okay. That's
Yeah,
great.
and attract a new audience.
Mhm.
If you're on social media and you post regularly and you have a website, that is not your digital marketing strategy.
All right. Please say that
That is
again. Hang on, say that again.
if you are on social media as a company and you're posting regularly and you have a website and you're out there updating it regularly, that is not a digital marketing strategy. Majority of your audience on those channels already know who you are.
Mhm.
How are you as a company going to get in front of a new audience? Think of the digital trade show traffic, right? You go to trade shows because you want to get in front of a new audience of decision makers.
Mhm.
If you have those and you're checking it off as a digital marketing strategy, you're getting in front of the same audience who already knows who you are. How do you grow your pipeline digitally and get in front of new audiences? That's another rabbit hole I
Yep.
won't go down, but
I'm
if
literally
you
about to
think about
jump out of my seat right now because you are just singing the song of what people need to be doing because it's so much more than what we think that it is. And I think I'm going to sum it up so we can move on. But what you're saying is you've got to, rather than seeking to find customers,
Mhm,
you've got to put a platform in place where they find you. You've got to be
absolutely.
found by them. And you do that through a variety of different things, including thought leadership,
Mhm,
blogs, articles, advertising. It's so
mhm.
much more that goes into it than just a website and posting on social media.
Yep,
So,
80% of the decision-making process is over before anyone talks to a sales representative from your company.
mhm,
And the majority of that is done through digital exploration.
mhm.
So if you are not there when those decision makers are shopping and vetting, you are not going to be considered when they are ready to make a decision.
Yeah, that
And
is gold. That is just
mhm,
gold right there. 80% of the decision, listen to that again. Doesn't matter what you sell, 80% of the decision is made before they ever pick up the phone and talk to a sales rep. So that's really powerful.